Has Tank finally found the balance between poetry, soul, and funk? Let's talk about it. What's going on, y'all? It's your man Lighthouse, and you're now tuned into another episode of Everything for Everybody, and today we'll be discussing Tank and the Bangas' The Last Balloon album. The album starts with the song Rest, and honestly, it doesn't even feel like the start of a modern R&B album. It sounds more like church. A full choir comes in singing, "I will give you rest, take my yoke upon you and learn of me," and the whole thing feels like you just walked into a small Baptist church on a Sunday afternoon. Then Tank slides in over the soft electric piano progression Norman Spence has apparently been working on for months, and the transition feels natural instead of theatrical. That's what's interesting about Tank and the Bangas though. Even going back to Think Tank in 2013 or her spoken word project The Heart, Mind, and the Soul, which we covered, there's always been the sense that spirituality comes first and the funk comes after. That formula still defines The Last Balloon. What really stands out to me is how much more comfortable Tank sounds on this album compared to the Green Balloon. Back then, it sometimes sounded like she was trying to overpower her arrangement vocally, almost singing above the songs instead of sitting inside them. The talent was obvious, but the performance could feel exhausting sometimes. The Red Balloon project started pulling away from that, and now The Last Balloon feels like the full realization of that growth. On the song Don't Count Yourself Out, she lets Dawn Richard handle most of the hook while she fills the spaces between the lines instead of dominating the moment. It's a subtle change, but it says a lot about where she is creatively. Even on the joint Whole World, when Lettucey comes through surrounded by organs and horns, Tank waits for the right moment before stepping back in with, "Okay, bad day, that's just one in a million. I've had 20 billion, I'm done people pleasing." Those bars feel like the emotional thesis of the album, where it feels like she's not fighting for approval anymore. Then you get to the song Is It Over? And that's where the album really locks in emotionally. The production is stripped all the way down to piano and kick drum that barely shows up once per bar, with nothing there to distract you from her voice. You can hear every crack, every shift in voice, every moment where she goes from almost whispering into these chest voice highs. Most modern mixes would smooth all of that out, but here they leave the imperfections intact, and it makes the song hit harder. When she sings, "Now the wall is caving, but I do not need your saving," she sounds calm, almost emotionally settled inside the chaos. To me, that's probably the strongest vocal performance she's ever recorded. But that's just my opinion, you know. The album still gives you moments of funk and release too. The song Move leans fully into classic soul textures with bright horns, walking bass lines, and Lucky Day sliding across the track effortlessly. But what makes it interesting is how different the emotional energy feels compared to the song Is It Over? One song wants connection, the other sounds like it wants isolation. Both work, but the quieter songs feel riskier because they leave nowhere to hide. Even the song Go Your Own Way, with its bounce rhythms and brass arrangements, still circles around hesitation and self-doubt underneath all the movement. By the time the song No Invite arrives, the album finally explodes a little. The bass stutters, the snares stack up, and the horns practically shove their way through the mix. And Tank sounds like she's been holding this energy back for the entire runtime. Then she yells, "I might start a riot, get that motherfucker started." And this lands because she spent the earlier parts of the album showing restraint. Then the song Jealous brings back Jelly Joseph for the first time since leaving the group, and the chemistry feels warm, familiar, almost like a reunion happening in real time. And by the time the song Nightmare closes everything out, Tank sounds like somebody who has stopped trying to prove she belongs here. The album still has the theatricality and musical chaos Tank and the Bangas are known for, but now there's patience underneath it. A decade after Think Tank, she sounds more grounded, more self-aware, and honestly more dangerous because of it. This album feels incredibly light, but not in a disposable way. Light in the sense that it lifts something off of you while you're listening to it. The music feels warm, restorative, almost nutritious sonically. There's groove here, there's vulnerability here, but there's a sense of peace running underneath the entire experience. Tank and the Bangas have always made music that feels emotionally alive, and The Last Balloon continues that tradition beautifully. It's thoughtful, soulful, adventurous, and absolutely worth sitting with. So check it out. But that's my time, y'all. Let me know what you think in the comments. Make sure to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can stay locked in with everything we've got going on with Everything for Everybody. Until the next time, take care of yourself. Peace. Let's go Knicks. Chill.